Welcome back, everybody, to the Victory Road World Cup Finals pre-show. I am joined here still by Shanali Ken, and we are just getting ready to have our interviews with the managers of Team UK and Team Argentina, who've made the finals of the tournament this year. They've been waiting a long time for this. We've been waiting a long time for this. I bet all of you have been waiting a long time for this. That final little, showdown, a little bit of fighting talk, maybe, just as we go in to that final bracket of the tournament. So hopefully they got a good insight for us, and hopefully they got a good, quick slaps back and forth with each other to say, maybe a couple quick jokes to say, we want to win, you want to lose, all that stuff. But hopefully it's all quite tame today as we go into this interview.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some insights from both of these managers from the winning teams, which of course is gonna be very interesting to see before we get into the matches tomorrow. At first glance, it might look like it's three of us casters interviewing just Julián Martínez, but no, our very own Ben Kyriakou is of course also the manager of Team UK. So yeah, great to see him, I guess, on the side of the player this time and not a caster.
Yeah, so it's going to be a bit odd for him. You have to do this from your other perspective, but he's brought a really, really good team in. I think Team UK have either just fallen short of getting through to this final bracket the past few years, or just been knocked out as they reached into it. So it's going to be nice to see what his mindset is going all the way. They've got a very sports mentality to it. Of course, they are giving it the age-old chant of "It's coming home." Yeah, they really, really want to bring it back. They want to show where that Pokemon belongs. But let's see if Argentina maybe want to show them a little bit, themselves. Maybe they want to have a bit of a tango with them. Maybe they'll have a bit of a showdown to really, really take away that pride that the British players are bringing along with them.
Yeah, of course, United Kingdom, they want to bring it home, but I can't imagine that Team Argentina is going to make it easy for them. They are both here in the finals for a reason. Very strong teams, very strong players. Pretty sure, they've all worked together during the last 10 weeks to, find the ideal teams. They've been scouting, just doing whatever they can to get all the way to the finals.
Yeah, let's see what sort of tactics they went through, because we had mentioned earlier about how you can just bring something to perfectly match into what you think your opponent's going to bring. But when you're at this stage now, when you're at top up bracket, you have to consider what have they brought in the past and what can you use to counter team that. And also, what can you bring that is just the perfect team for you to use? Like, we saw a lot of Team UK were piloting the team that had the Salamence in quite recently, because maybe that was something that as a group they had built together, they were comfortable with together. And you can either have two ways of bringing the same thing, where it's, you bring it over and over again, the opposing team picks up what to do with it, or because you all know it so well, you can help each other make those changes between matches, and then you can constantly be on that better hand against the other team. So it'd be nice to see if there's those little minutiae that the players can work around as well, did they have those sorts of things where it's a tiny detail they changed all the way up to those massive details they changed, whether that be just having a player benched for a week, or maybe just having a player come in they haven't thought of using, to all those things like that.
Yeah, that's of course another big plus for not only preparation for your World Cup matches, but I think generally also when preparing for a different tournament, like a regional. If you have several people play like the same Pokemon, or like very similar teams, just slightly different versions of it, you get to learn more about what works with this Pokemon, with this team, what doesn't work, what are the difficult matchups, what are the easy matchups, all of which is equally as important. I believe I am being told we are ready to head into this interview now.
Yeah, our managers are ready to listen in to us. They're ready to go. So it'll be nice to see what their insights are in this final penultimate day of the season. Hello, everyone.
Here they are.
Hello.
So I'm gonna start off with Ben Kyriakou, our, of course, usually here joining us as a caster, but here, of course, instead as the manager of Team United Kingdom. Ben, how are you doing, first of all?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It feels weird to be on this side of things, but of course, making the finals in the first place, we couldn't be happier as a team. I couldn't be happier to, have all of the players that we've brought in, as well as everyone in the community that's like come in to help. We've worked so hard to get here, and like, yeah, I couldn't be happier to be sitting here, being interviewed for a change, and having that different experience.
Well, I personally can say it's great to be able to interview you, of course, get the chance to do that as well. But yeah, Julián, you must be proud of your teammates as well, having made it all the way to the finals.
Yeah, of course. I'm proud. I'm happy. Very nervous. I'm stressed because with the last 2 years, be out in top 16. We hope can pass this part of the competition, and yeah, we have a nice group of players working together for the last 3 years, and now we're in the final, and it's amazing. It's amazing right now.
Yeah, but it must be very good to feel, and we'll come back to you as well, Julián, because to get into this final, you had to come up against Japan in that top 4, which is a team that you can't just say that you breezed past, because it did come to that last game. So, was there anything that you think was a good thing to come to that game? Like, was there any preparation went in for that, or was it just you went into it with the hope that your team would just have that power they had for the whole season and just take it home against one of the best teams in the game?
Yeah. Against Japan, we have this prorogation of the week because the team list mistake of Mao, and yeah, we do a hard work to try to beat this team, because the team they were using is a team I made with Ivo, a teammate. He played it in live, so. It's probably they were testing the matchup against the team of Tondoso, and we worked 4 days trying to see how beat our own team. That was very funny, but was...
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's horrible, really.
Yeah.
But yes, we work, I don't know, 20 hours in 4 days to play 6 minutes, 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's crazy, and I have to make the rules put the sanction and fault on Team Japan. I don't like it. I apologize to them, but well, it's a competition.
It is a competition, and you mentioned like 20 hours of work in like 4 days. That is the kind of dedication you need in a competition like this, and yeah, that's what you get for building good teams. People are gonna pick up on them, they're gonna use them, and then you're gonna have to find a way to counter it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always rough to have to face into your own team, because on one hand you're like, oh, I know this team perfectly because this is one I built or one of my friends built, but on the other hand you got to think, what have they changed about it to make it any different? But I will throw the same question over to you, Ben, because you faced arguably the Japan of Europe, and you faced Italy in that final bracket, who have come, I believe, in the finals in a previous iteration of the World Cup, as well as just having great players across the board. How did you feel going into that, and how did you feel getting that win over them in that very end?
Nervous, for sure. I think one of the strengths of our team, a lot of the way that our team has worked, is that we're very focused in how we prepare. And so, like, every single week, it's been the same process. We form into little groups, and we have people, which I'll shout out a little bit later, but like, we have people to do scouting that are dedicated to doing that, and then we have groups of players working on individual matchups, individual matches. So because we know how we're going to approach each week, it's not about who we're playing, it's about just following the process and making sure that we're like doing the right scouting, we're testing the matchups against the players that the teams that we know the players have used. We're trying to, build something maybe slightly different from what we've been talking about, like, hey, we've used a team 3 times already. Maybe let's not use exactly that team again. And so, you go up against Italy, it's going to be a tough week. But because we have the process and we're like 7, 8, 9 weeks into the process and doing it every single week, we just did exactly what we did. Our players have been so consistent this year to get us to the finals. And you play the matches and you see what happens. We came out on the top side of that. We were thinking like, hey, wow, this could have been someone that we faced in the finals, or could have easily not. In fact, they knocked us out last year of the group stages. We lost to them 5-3, and it was a tough loss because we were so close. So to come back and then just do what we've been doing all season and be able to win, not only that, get to the finals was it was. I can't tell you. It was real good.
That is the revenge arc, I think, that anybody wants to see if they were knocked out last year. It sounds like Team UK is very structured. Everybody has their role to play, and everybody's fulfilling their role. Was it as structured as you're making it sound out to be, or was it sometimes a little bit chaotic as well?
No, I'm pretty militant. And I think most of my players would attest to that. I am constantly tagging everyone. It's not just me as well. Like we've got three managers overall, and everyone's doing their part, right? But we have been building. Jamie Keane and I, we've been managing for a while together now. We've been building this structure for a long time and perfecting how we do things, and we put a lot of time into getting that right as to what works. And so it's, if you don't, as a manager, if you're not executing those sort of things consistently, then you don't get the results. So we really do try to keep on top of everything, and even if we're not like pushing, it's like, hey, you have to use this team or that team, we're still trying to make sure our players have everything they need to succeed.
Sounds very good. It's always good to have the team working like clockwork and having everyone doing their role. But of course, I was just glancing over at our Top Cut brackets. We're talking about revenge stories here. And Julián, this one's for you. You're the only Latin American team in that Top Cut bracket, and people often say, that LATAM is often slept on in terms of VGC. So how do you feel that you are representing not only Argentina, but an entire region of VGC going into these final stages of the tournament?
Yeah, first I want to say is LATAM had bad luck, okay? We are in the same group of Chile. Again, the last 2 World Cups, we were in the same group, and we played the 3rd match of the group, and we win both, and we take out of the competition Chile. So LATAM has a great level of playing VGC. Last year Peru beat United Kingdom, and it's a great players, great communities. Chile, Brazil had a lot of players. Argentina, it's more reduced in players. We don't have a lot. We have, I don't know, 20, 30 players consistently going to tournaments. But I think like shows the level of the LATAM VGC. Thiago Latanzi, then you have Agati years ago playing really good, a lot of years. We have Sebastián Escalante, and now he's playing again, but he's a great player in the past, and now is the same. He's a genius. We have the Salernos brothers. They both always compete, trying. Joaquin won a regional a few months ago. LATAM, I think it's real. They don't sleep on LATAM, but I'm not sure the people sleep on LATAM right now. It's bad luck. sometimes I'm sure Chile could go to the final bracket if there was not in the same group at us. So I'm very proud of the all LATAM. I know the level we have here. A few years ago, we have American Cup playing. We won, of course, but yeah, the level is it's really, really, really good for real. It's not easy playing against us because we all know each other. Well, you should suffer this in Europe, playing all the time between the same players. But here we are much less players, so we play always against the same players. Okay, so yeah, I think maybe the next year we could have more luck with the pairings, but I think Peru, Chile, Ecuador, Brazil has really good teams. Be careful.
Yeah, they do look good. Like, I just went through your bracket run as well as your group stage run, and you had a large portion of Latin American teams. And like you said, it's, you know, for you guys where it's a much smaller player base, it's a lot harder for you to, you know, be like, oh, we just face someone from our region, because you're often good friends with them or you often know them quite well. Whereas, you know, Ben, if you were to face someone from your region, you could be like, oh, it's just another European player. There's loads of us. It's so widespread. So it's nice to see, yeah, it's both nice to see that you're breaking through that, but of course it does always break your heart. You're having to break your comrades' runs to get that far to crown yourselves the champions of a group or the entire tournament.
Yeah,
I will say as
Yeah,
well,
in fact,
like LATAM players are like crazy too. Like it's not just they're clever, they know how to play the game, they're practicing all the time. They clearly there's so much passion, but there's also like you see some of the teams that come out LAIC and you're like, whoa, like Tiago's team this year at LAIC. It was so cool, but it worked, and he found a way to make it work, right? Like that's scary. Like that's scary to play.
Yeah, I feel like with unique teams like that, you can really tell that, you know, how much time and effort people put into practicing those teams. But yeah, we are going to take a look at the scoreboard here of, you know, how your run in the World Cup has gone, respectively, both 8-1, you know, just very, very, like, almost identical scores here. United Kingdom going 47-22, and Argentina just one victory more, 48-21. So, yeah, I think we're gonna have a very interesting finals here. Maybe Julián can start and tell us. You know, you've had some great weeks here. Was there one team in particular maybe that we see on the screen here that was like we talked about Japan already, but what was another team that maybe was very tough to face off against?
Well, the reality is Chile, I think, was really hard. Thailand, of course, the last champion, but Chile, because I'm friend of the managers of Chile, so we joke a lot, but we know each other a lot, so we need to win to get to the bracket, the final bracket. So was very stressful match because we know what the other play, how the other plays. So I think, of course, Thailand, Taiwan, Japan, it's a bracket. So the rivals you are gonna face here, of course, it's gonna be difficult. But in group, we play against Australia, a great team, and Chile knows us, very difficult. The qualifiers, Panama, Guatemala, and Philippines, great teams, but well, we take this a little bit, I don't know how to say, chill, a little more chill, just to burn up us for the next weeks. Trying to relax and play confident. Let's go, don't burn up. And I think this was a good strategy to face all the competition and help us to reach the final.
Yeah, and it seems like both the strategy for Argentina and for the United Kingdom has worked, but of course there can only be one winner. I think it's amazing to see that neither of the teams have lost a single matchup. You both had one tie, but everything else you've won. So yeah, it just goes to show that both of these teams very strong. But yeah, Ben, maybe aside from Italy, was there one matchup where you were pinging your team more than maybe the other weeks? That was especially scary.
I like to tag everyone on, regardless of what week it is. Every team that we played in some way has been tough. We've had one of those matches right across the board. I think shout outs to El Salvador. They had a pretty new team coming in, and they started off really strong. They were a tough opponent, obviously on a draw in the tournament. Well, we were, I think, trying to get a little bit off the ground and get started. But going to the end, I think the most stressful match that we had, I think, was the China match, where we won the first three matches, and we're feeling pretty good. You're always feeling great at 3-0 up. And then China equalised to 3-3. And I remember the moment where our last player, Jonathan Marston, went to play his set with 3-3. It's obviously all on the line. He changed his team 5 minutes before the match to a team that we'd been working on, but like slightly different. So he changed 3 Pokemon 5 minutes before the match. Went off, played his game, and most of the games, like, we watch along with the players. They can't hear us, obviously, but like we're still watching so that we can comment on the games afterwards. And he comes back in. He wasn't streaming the game. We didn't see it. We didn't know what happened. We're all stressed. And he comes back in and says, "Sorry, guys," in the server. And we were all just like, "Hey, what? Oh, is this over?"
Mm-hmm.
And then his next words were, "We're going to have to start prepping for top 4." And we all just flipped. It was just such a stressful moment. And I still hate Jono for it. but I respect it as well. It was one of the most stressful and like one of the best, for sure.
Well,
I
to
love
make the
that.
joke in the right moment, we have a lot of players doing the same joke, for real. So I know what you suffer.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's I think that's part of the competition as well. That's joking around the gotchas for also the teammates. I think helps keep morale high as well. Goes to show you that they all enjoy competing. They all enjoy putting in so much effort, so much energy into this competition.
Yeah, it does look like you guys are all having fun, but of course, we can't go and discredit all these players. We have to have a look at them all, because they all played their own little part beyond their jokes, making you think that you'd lost the entire round. So we'll start things off with, someone who Ben is having a good smile at. He knows what he wants to call him, he knows what he wants to say. But it's Taran, who has been really the David Beckham of this run, because he started off, being a player you want to see doing very well. Had that 0-3 start, and then all of a sudden just flipped it round. So Ben, how did Taran, make you feel with that early start to the season when he was really riding that hype of being one of the best players that you could probably field from this side of the world?
Well, what do I say about Taran Birdie? Okay, so I'm gonna start with telling you a story of his first match. Now, we played against Denmark. He was against Frederick, a fantastic player, really, good in Regulation D. We start out the tournament at the start of Regulation E, and we all start messaging to schedule matches. And Frederick says, "Hey, I'm free tonight, tomorrow." And this is like Tuesday when we get the matchups. So tonight, tomorrow, or Thursday, I can play. And Tara's like, "Hey, do you want to play in half an hour?" and Tara's like, you're right. Taran is one of our best players, arguably top 3 on the team in terms of on paper. So I'm like, yeah, okay, go for it. It probably favors us. He would be the favorite in the matchup overall. He goes, loses 2-0, comes back, and we're like, yeah, right, okay, we're never doing that ever again. So yeah, this is why I at everyone. And the funny thing is there's a gap there when we're playing against Ireland. I actually wanted to drop him from the team for the first week of groups, but with the way that it worked, we were playing Indonesia first, a really tough team. Then we played Canada, also a really tough team. So we wanted to play him. And then, obviously, with the way that the results shook out, and Ireland had already been knocked out, so I can't. Ireland had already been knocked out, so it's like, right, this is it. Now we get him off the team. This is my this is why there's a gap. But like, he's come back. He won 5 games to get us here. Right? So while he didn't do great in the qualifiers, I'm not forgiving him because this is live and broadcast, and he's probably watching. I'm not forgiving him. But it's okay.
Of course, though, on the flip side for you, Julián, we have Ezekiel, who has been going on like a soldier since the very beginning, only dropping 1 game at the very end against Japan. How did you feel about fielding him at the start, as well as just his progress through the tournament?
Well, first of all, Ezekiel is one of my best friends in the team. We know each other from, I don't know, 7 years ago. We are friends. We hang out, everything. I know him. He works alone. He's not testing with the team, but we have 2 guys scouting all the opponents. Sends everything to Ezekiel. Ezekiel appears and say, "Hey guys, I won," and that's all. That's how he plays. He was unbeaten, but well, exits Japan, right? And he goes with the first loss. But yeah, he plays from the last 8 years. He's really good chasing teams. He likes a lot of strategy. He studied a lot his opponent. It's an old player. He plays from, I don't know, 2014. He does a lot of things, and yeah, I'm really happy he got this run on this World Cup. He's great. I want to see this match. It's gonna be amazing. Taran is an amazing player. Ezekiel is an amazing player too, but here in Latam, sometimes we don't know some players because we don't travel, we don't go to a lot of tournaments. He couldn't go to this shit. So I'm gonna see this. It's gonna be a great match.
Yeah, hopefully he does bring it on into the finals match against Taran. But of course, let's see who is up next on the roster for both players, because yeah, gotta give it the credits there. And of course, it is the player who did give a little of a shock to Ben. It is Jonathan Marston. So he's had a few more gaps than Taran there. Is there any reason behind having those gaps, or is it just, he just wasn't available for those matches?
We did like to switch around. Certainly in the early part of the season, before we sort of distilled ourselves down to a core of players that were doing really well. But Johnny's been playing for a really long time, and we've actually not had him in the team too much as far as World Cup goes. We've been trying to get him for a while because he's such a great player, especially in the online tournaments. And so, yeah, we were really happy to have him in and for him to be a part of things, and that's reflected as well in his record here. Yeah, he's just so good at playing, and it doesn't matter what team you give him, he always has a great shot. So he's been a really great part of the team.
Yeah, I can see that he's played both more speedy teams of Tailwind, but also given Trick Room teams a try. So yeah, seems like he's very diverse in his play styles there. Then, of course, we do have Juan Pablo Cambon, who, has done very well as well, and played every week. So, was that at all a problem for him, or was he happy to just be available every week?
I'm sure it was a problem, but well, sometimes we have a life. Sometimes we can't play. So yeah, Juan Pablo is always available to play. He is he's stressed a little bit because a lot of weeks changing teams. Sometimes I'm very persistent in change your team, don't let them counter you, etc. I'm this kind of manager, but well, Juan Pablo, Ezequiel, and we are close friends. I can insult him if it's necessary. But well, yeah, he was a great run. A couple of losses, unfortunately, matchups. He faced to Javier Sandoval from Chile. Well, Javi is a friend of us. Javi is with us in a team, and Juan Pablo plays in this team, so we know each other a lot. Was a match very difficult. So yeah, he prepares very well. He asks a lot of things. He tried to, what team can I use? All the team. So I'm very happy this run. Everyone made a great run. That's why we are in the finals.
Yeah, it's great to see. It's also a good reflection showing that you can have players who are soldiering it through the entire time. Where you did have Ezequiel, who was getting that 8-1 run and was doing so well to get there. Juan Pablo is showing you can have a bit of that balance, and you can still be a good teammate, still a good friend, even if you are taking that knockback every so often. Because joining alongside them on our next two roster picks here will be Matt Maynard and Juan Salerno. So Matt Maynard, has had a bit of an odd run at regionals, only recently getting his first day 2 of the season after a bit of a drought. But you seem to have a lot of trust in there, Ben, having him get that 7-1 record, only missing one match throughout the entire season this year.
He just keeps on winning. It's really handy. And this is one of the nice things about an evolution of a player as well. Regional results aside, because Matt's had a bit of a challenging time this year. But he lost in week 1 to Denmark, and his opponent used Spam. And I can't remember which week it happened, but one of the other wins that's down that list was against Spam, where when I talked before about us like watching each other's games to be able to feed back to each other, we talked about that matchup. Then he played it again with a similar team and won. And so it's both Matt's progression as a player in terms of like that team league thing, that he's always available. He's always really invested. He's always like, hey, I want to build this team. That team looks cool, or I used this last week. What can I do differently, or how can I improve it? And with that sort of commitment, you can't go wrong putting a player like that.
Yeah, and of course, him being one of our casters as well, I got to cast a few matches with him, and you can tell that he knows Pokemon. He really, really knows Pokemon. So yeah, not surprising to see him do very well here. And gonna be interesting to see how he does against Juan Salerno. Yeah, Julián, go ahead.
Well, my co-manager, first of all. Well, I everyone knows Juanfi to the friends. I know him since he was a child playing Pokemon. He used Electivire, and he plays for having fun. And now you say, "Hey, I'm gonna use." Nope, use the meta game. Juanfi have 19 years old, have this energy of be younger than the rest of us. So yeah, he's a great player. In fact, against Philippines, he used Magma Storm Hitran, and he misses, I don't know, 4 or 5 Magma Storms and goes, okay, no more Magma Storm. And he keep using Hitran Magma Storm, I know, but was okay. I don't like it. He lost every time he lost, he used Hitran. So maybe you should stop using it. No, well, Juan is a genius. I gonna see this match is gonna be really good. I don't, not gonna lie, I don't know Matt before. I know him as a caster, of course, yeah, but I don't have him playing. I wasn't know him, so it's a big surprise. This is the World Cup too. You have surprises of players you don't know the name. We're in different continent, etc. So I want to see this match because I have faith on our manager, Juan Salerno.
Yeah,
Always
but
good to have.
sorry. No, I was gonna say that I saw that Juan, he managed to beat a world champion in Shoma Hunami as well. So yeah, I think a very worthy opponent to go up against Matt. And I believe we are now ready to look at our next pairing.
Another good one to compare. You know, we have Calvin Foster, who's on that 4-3, so hasn't had the most immaculate of runs, is coming just close to a break even against Ivo Giorgioni here. So we'll start again with you, Ben. So Calvin Foster, you know, had a really good Worlds run a couple of years ago. Is slipping behind a bit. Do you think there's anything behind that? You know, is there anything maybe like the team, you know, could have done to help with that, or do you think it's just, you know, he just really wasn't going for it this season?
He was going for it, definitely. Calvin's a very hard-working player, and there's always players in a team that do like all of their work inside the server where we can see, and players like Calvin that does a lot of the work outside the server where, you know, we can't see, but we know that he's working, and that makes it okay, right? He, I think, had a bit of a struggle in team leagues because Calvin's a very successful player, got top 8 in Japan, and he's done very consistently well at regionals this season and across Europe. But he's used to mostly preparing for regionals. You guys were talking about it earlier, where you're preparing for everything that you can come up against, and so you use the best team that you can. And I think, you know, through the qualifiers and the group stages, that was absolutely fine because Calvin's such a good player that he can deal with that. When you go into the top 16 and the top 8 and the top 4 in the finals, that doesn't work quite as well anymore. And I think that adjustment is something that certainly you see from the top 16 and the top 8 to his match against Italy, where he used a completely different team and was able to find success with it. And so, yeah, that mindset shift that we got a little bit later on in the tournament, I think is like a really big thing to the reason that Calvin was on our roster for the finals and why we trust him to, you know, give Evo a run for his money.
Yeah, and didn't only bring a very interesting team against Team Italy, but also against Simone Sanvito, which is he is one of the best European players out there. So even though, you know, the record may only be a 4-3, so almost, you know, breaking even, you know, being able to defeat a player like that definitely shows that, you know, he is also a very, very dangerous opponent in the finals. And I guess we can go on to talk about Evo now, who also played all 9 weeks.
Yeah, we have a lot of players playing all the 9 weeks. The 10s. Well, Evo, it's we call him Lagarto, means lizard. I don't know why, but his nickname. So Evo started playing in this year in March. So he's a new gem for us. He goes to like and finish as the best Argentinian player. In fact, he lost in the Winanin. We worked together to prepare this continental, He used the Dondoso he used in top 8 against Taiwan. He's new, but he has a lot of energy. It's a new player. He want to know everything, try to test everything. You go and say him, "Hey, Ivo, test Lagarto. Try this, test this, don't do this," and he said, "Yes, of course, let's go." And he put to work at the moment. I remember the match against Chile. I know Luciano very much, and I told him, "Look, Luciano plays in that way. Do this." And Ivo said, "Okay, go do this 2-0." Okay, he's this kind of player. He's very new, but maybe we have a good player for the future, for the next 8 years. You're gonna know of Ivo probably doing good things.
They are
Yeah.
scary, scary players. Players like you.
Yeah, it's always scary to see those players who not necessarily come out of nowhere, but will all of a sudden just have themselves giving a presence onto the field for everything. So, of course, Evo does roll up with a very, very good record for someone who is coming into their first season. Let's see what the next match is coming in for, see if they are going to give us a run for their money, as it is another fellow caster of ours in Mr. David Partington against the other Salerno brother in Joaquin. So, yeah, two players that are very, very well known, very, very well versed. Of course, Joaquin, another one who has gone through all 9 games. So we'll start with you again, Julián. So, what was there any mindset between running Joaquin through that entire thing, or was it just again down to like availability and dedication?
Yeah, look, Joaquin is like the moral spirit of the team. He always sends audios. Let's go, guys! He's always so energetic. He's the other face of the coin with Juan. Juan is the calm brother, and Joaquin is the electric brother. Well, all the Spanish guys from Victory Road know him, so he's very electric. So yeah, he's always let's go, let's play. Maybe sometimes he forget what time he has to play, and maybe I get very mad about this. But yeah, he's he sometimes he doesn't test anything and get the team. Okay, let's go, let's play, and he goes win, and it's incredible. He won a regional of Sao Paulo, if I'm not wrong, and he choose one team the day before, go. He almost no testing the team anything, and won the tournament. He was texting me, "Oh, I'm in the final against Paul Ruiz." What? And yeah, this kind of player is Joaquin. It's in my opinion, he's very talented. He has the match against Yuki was pretty awful because the matchup was horrible, and that was I wanna saw I'm inconformed with that match. I get anger with him because Yuki used to use this team in top 8, and well, was pretty awful. But okay, I know he's gonna be a great match. He's a very aggressive player, so I'm gonna see how both try to punish the weaknesses or the stronger of the other player.
Yeah, it's nice to see that. Like I said, we fell that last hurdle, but he did learn from it. And we do also see that he used the same team a few weeks in a row. Did you feel a bit shaky with that? Did you feel a bit, maybe he could be counter-teamed at some point? He won all of them, but of course, was there any point where you thought, hey, maybe Joaquin to stop using that team because you could get someone to play something that's perfect into that team later on?
Yes. Yeah, sometimes I talk to him to change or repeat, or we have a strong core of few teams. We have some players to master the use of the team, if I can say. I don't know, Ivo and I test a lot of Dondoso, so you need to use Dondoso. Let's practice the team. here you have, I don't know, 20, 30 replays of the team. Yeah, he was using the same type of team the first weeks, and I told him stop it. So yeah, sometimes we can change. There is time that, of course, you have more in common with one or another player of similar type of playing, more aggressive or etc. So yeah, but is what I was saying before. The first weeks we take more chill, calm. Let's play what you want. Be confident. Let's go. Don't burn up with the Machado. My opponent used that thing, or etc. So, what's the kind of strategy to the planification of all workup? We know we have 6 weeks at least or more, so don't burn up in the first.
Yeah, no, that I think that's fair enough. But I'm just gonna move on to David here, real quick. Yeah, I mean, Ben, I think we both know David Partington also as a caster, of course, another player that really knows Pokemon.
Yeah, he is. He's been playing a while. He's won regional championship with Murkrow, so I mean, not many other people can say that. In fact, I don't think anyone else, David, can say that. And something that I really want to point out with David's record is one of the things that we say is David wins when he wants to, because in the match against Ireland that he lost, as well as the match in the top 16 versus South Korea, we'd already won the week by the time that David played. And so I think kind of similar to you, Julian, with your players, like don't burn out at the end of the week. Like if we've won the week, great. Let's we can take a serious team, but we don't have to focus quite as hard as if we're still got something to play for. And those are the only 2 losses so far he's had. Every other time, if you need David to be there on time, he's there on time. If you need him to win, he wins. And again, we'll say this for every match. Like our players have had such a great run. Like both teams' players have had such a great run, right? That's why we're here. But yeah, David, I would say is just one of the key reliable. Just keeps on going. He's always playing something good. He's always trying something new. He always has that sort of air of consistency around him. Yeah, I'm really, really happy that David's 6 in this tournament.
Of course, David having that imaginary 6-0 going behind him. Let's see who comes up next in this list, because there are many more players to go, and it is another caster of ours, and of course, a player who's known for being very, very out there with his team. So, Ben, we'll start with you this time, because of course, no one can say anything about Jamie better than you. Has he ever scared you at any point where he's maybe said, this is a Pokemon with a very, very specific calculation I might use at some point in a tournament?
Jamie is a constant enigma. I stopped a long time ago trying to tell Boy how to play, what to do. We've pushed him, we've nudged him, we've said you need to use a Pokemon that's actually a Pokemon. But Jamie does things because they work in Jamie's head, and when things work in Jamie's head, things go well. And he's done so well this season, right? He I think struggled a bit in Dynamax formats. It's a little bit different in terms of play. It's a bit more punishing. You can't use niche Pokemon quite as well because there's so many powerful things. So now in Regulation E, we're well into a place where Jamie is really thriving. And his team selection kind of shows that, but it really is a lot of it variations on the things that he does well, and especially there, going down to when he played against Italy, we were talking about how to make his regionals team, which he published everything. published all of the EVs and everything, so everybody knew exactly what the team was, right? And we were like, "Hey, how do we do this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I could just use a zoom rule." Like, what? Like, okay, I'm listening. And that's why it's sitting there, right? Because it changes his team enough so that if somebody counter teams him, well, now there's an Azuma rule and that plays completely differently. One of the strengths of Jamie that he can play like that and still be able to be successful.
And I think you really hit the nail on the head when you said that they work in his head, and that's why he gets results with them. These are not teams that you can just pick up and play and do just as well with. I think it really shows that he puts a lot of time and effort into team building to come up with these unique sets, which again they work in his head. Also interesting to see, how different players team build or how they think about Pokemon as a competitive game. And yeah, gonna be interesting to see what Pokemon he brings in his final match against Fran. So yeah, Fran, I think the player with the least games played so far that we've seen. How's he feeling going into the finals, Julián?
Yeah, well, he's very happy because it's the final, but he's very happy because he's a huge fan of Jamie Boyd. He loves him. He's I want to play with Jamie. And I say to Fran, don't show you as a fanboy, please. So, you have to beat him. You can say, yeah, I love your teams. And no, chill, calm down. Then you talk to him. Okay, no problem. But first, let's go to win. Now, Fran is our emergency player. He's a great, he's a great player. He's he goes to like 2 and he dies in the doors of the day 2. He's amazing. He plays in a weird way. He uses strange teams too. So you can see when he used a Tailwind team, he lost. But if he made a size spam heartier team, he had some unique. For example, his Urshifu used Power Band to be slower than Ursaluna, for example. And he's a great builder, strange, particular. Sometimes we don't understand him, but now we love him. He's always ready to play. You have any problem, and he's, yep, okay, I can do it. Let's go. And I hope they both have a great match. It's gonna be amazing, and it's amazing for Fran.
It is quite amazing. And just before we move on, would you say with his creative plays of having the power band on his Urshifu, would you say he is your team's Jamie Boyd with having these creative ideas going forward in the tournament?
Sorry?
Would you say he's like your team's equivalent to Jamie Boyd? Would you say he's on the same sort of level as Jamie with all his creative ideas?
I don't know if the same level, but Fran would love to be in the same level of Jamie. But yeah, it's the most creative player of the team by far.
Definitely inspired
we'll get
by
them together
Jamie
after the match.
Yeah.
Together.
They
Can go to Crazy Corner.
Yeah,
the crazy little corner.
Sure.
Well, looking forward to a crazy match then between both of these players, and we are going to move on to match number 7, which is, of course, Julián, you yourself are playing, and you're up against the other Ben of Team UK, Ben Markham here. Yes, Kyriakou. Do you want to give any notes on this player?
Yeah, Ben's are like, I don't know quite how to describe it without saying words that sound a bit weird, but he's just a player that's always there. He's kind of like David, like really consistent as a player. You know that you never think like Ben's gonna go and do something like super crazy, right? In a match, he's gonna use something really solid. He's gonna use good Pokemon, and he's going to use them well. and never going to, really lose badly, right? You looking down his records. Whenever he's lost them, he's only lost 2-1, right? I know his match against Chongqing was really, really close. It came down to a leading game 3. And Ben's performance over the whole season has just improved and improved and improved. And he's been trying new things, teams that he wouldn't usually play. We have a little bit of a joke with Ben where he's like, "Oh my god, I've found this super crazy team, and it's a totally standard team, and it has one move different." And that's Ben's idea of a crazy team, and you can see looking down the list of the teams that he's played, it shows. But he's also really consistent with those players, and I'm really happy to have him both in the team and also carrying on improving through the whole season.
Yeah. So you mentioned that he just plays solid Pokemon, so I'm gonna ask you, is it of your opinion that Empoleon is a solid Pokemon?
Yes.
Okay. Glad we cleared that
You
one
are?
up.
That's it. Yes.
Yes. All right, you heard it from Ben Kyriakou himself, Empoleon, solid Pokemon in the current regulation. But, of course, moving on to Julián, you playing in the finals. And, yeah, I'm just going to ask you, are you happy with your results? 7-1 is great. And, happy with the teams you used, all in all?
Yeah, I'm very happy. It's my best World Cup. I played the last 2 World Cups and couldn't have the level I wanna have. This year I really felt confident. I only lost against a great player, Alistair, and a horrible matchup. So I don't even can try to force a 50s or well. So yeah, I'm happy, but my way to focus the usage of the teams is I have to practice my teammates, and then I was trying a lot of things because this is a competition. You have to change your team. You have to try to play a lot of different strategies. Sometimes it's not good. It's not a good idea. But well, that's what I'm trying to do. And well, I'm happy this year. I have the luck to punish some matchups to my favor. That's why I won a lot of 2-0. That's the reality. For example, in semifinals against Japan, I was counter the team of him. I go, okay, what do we okay against him? Okay, Thiago team, let's go. That's the way I work because I have to test the guy. So I use this team. I don't know, 50 battles. Okay, I know how to play it. That's the way. So yeah, I'm really happy on my personal way of the playing this tournament, and of course the team is the most important.
Yeah, it's always important to deliver that level of play and also always playing something that you're either comfortable with, or if you just know it's generally going to be a strong team going forward. Of course, basing it off of each other, it's always good to see, a manager phasing into the team. Of course, Ben, you've taken that step back for this final little bit of the series. Is that a personal choice, or is that just you just didn't want to face into Argentina, give the rest of the team that time to shine?
Management choice, definitely. Both Jamie and I stepped back as soon as we got into top 16. We are both good players. We've both got a lot of history in the game, and we've come out of this tournament with positive records, and we're both really happy with that. But we thought, as the tournament goes on, and you see how players are playing and what they're doing and their improvement and their consistency, we thought, do you know what? We can use our energy better to do exactly what Julian's talking about. We're testing against players. We're making sure that they're prepared. We're making sure the scouting is done. We're making sure that they have everything they need to succeed. And we thought our energy was better spent doing that and supporting our players rather than playing. And also, we were, Julián, you talked about your emergency player in France, and Jamie and I were the emergency players for our team. By the end, we had a core of 8 players, and Sam Bentham, who was the last player in that core of 8 players, that wasn't on the finals roster, was ready to go. And if that last player any week couldn't do it, I would play or Jamie would play. Like, we were ready to do that, and that's where we felt most valuable, rather than being in the front seat.
That's always good to have.
I'll let you go ahead.
I was going to say, it's always good to have the manager be that extra step in the arsenal to say, someone can't make it, I can. Because shows that dedication, shows that you're parenting the team, you're letting them learn, and then if you just step in, you can, and you can take that role and be very, very pivotal in the continuation of the World Cup series.
Yeah, Ben, you seem very proud of how much your team has grown, and Julián, I'm sure
we've never made it to playoffs. I couldn't be prouder of the team regardless.
Well, we are in the finals. We can be prouder. So
yeah, definitely, for sure. But yeah, then I would like to thank both of you for being here and giving us a little bit of insight into your teams, and I'm pretty sure we're all really, really hyped for an exciting finals. And so yeah, we actually have a video by last year's winners, Team Thailand, for everyone to watch right now.
Hello, Benzino is here. First of all, I would like to say congratulations to Argentina and United Kingdom for an incredible hardworking and make your way to final. I've seen a lot of performance from both sides and it's pretty hard to predict who is going to crown the champion of the tournament. No matter what is outcome, both of them are deserved. So I will be rooting for both of the team. Bye bye.
An amazing little video there.
And so there you have it. Best of luck to both teams, of course. We will be watching all 7 matches tomorrow. I think we're all very excited to get into those very soon.